Normally, I start with a happy Friday to everyone, and while I hope that everyone out here is having a happy Friday, it is kind of a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day over here, and I just want to be honest about that. I don't want to put on a face and pretend that I'm having a fantastic day because that is exactly what I tell you all not to do. So, for anybody that's new around here, allow me to just say that I am not a professional. So, any insight or advice or anything I give like that during this stream is just my experiences or the experiences of some of my life coaching clients or friends or just people that I have interacted with. If you are in a mental health crisis, please make sure that you're reaching out to a professional to get help. That being said, I am having a sip chamomile tea out of Walter White type of day today. That's where I'm at. It's just one of those things that's or one of those days that's just almost comical. If I was watching this as a soap opera playing out, I would be laughing or I would be going, "Oh gosh," and enjoying myself. But when it's happening to me, I'm just feeling really overwhelmed, and it's just one thing after another, and I can't seem to get my bearings this morning. So I am very happy to be here just to have this conversation, to open it up for you guys to have this conversation. As always, I just wanted to let you know that any super chat or super stickers today is going to be going toward that big mental health project, guys. We are less than a week away from announcing it, so that is something to be excited about. Glad I can focus on some positives. That is something to be excited about. I'm so thrilled to still be moving forward with this and be incorporating you guys in that. So let's see in this last 2-hour live stream how much we can raise toward the mental health outreach, toward the project. I will be signing more kitty headphones today, so I have them in blue and pink. So if you want a pair, just use that super chat function. Any pledge of $50 or more gets assigned kitty headphones in your choice of color, and I will sign them personally to you here on stream. That being said, oh my gosh, is anybody else just feeling like the energy of everything is really off? Because I just feel like something's kind of off these last few days. And I know that I have a lot of personal things going on, but I also just feel like it's something bigger than that. I'm sure that Jupiter's in retrograde or something like that right now. I don't follow astrology, but I know that there's probably some sort of explanation for all this, but good grief. Oh, Darkest Point Official is new. Hello, welcome. Good morning to some awesome person. Sharpshooter. Bill Wicked Vogel is live streaming here. He's here on his lunch break. Hi, Angelic, War Moose, Vought, Pam, Dean, Pastor Dean. I'm going through something personal right now. Sharpshooter07 says, my roommate just died. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I know that has to be extremely overwhelming. I don't know the context of what happened, but feel free to share with us how this is affecting you. If you guys were close, what thoughts or feelings you're having. Loss is really hard. Grief is an extremely difficult thing to cope with, oftentimes, especially if we don't have the tools. So I'd be happy to offer my insights on dealing with grief or on coming to terms with that, if that is something we should discuss today. Eric Fillmore says, good morning, you're amazing. Thanks for everything you do. Thank you. Damien OSullivan says, hope I can make you feel better with some laughs. It honestly just is starting to feel better just being here and talking and not feeling like I'm running around like a little cockroach trying to do something productive, because I have this really bad habit that when I get into situations like this and I find myself being very overwhelmed, I try to fix, which is exactly what I tell everybody not to do. But it's so hard for my brain to not try to start solving things and doing things. And after this, I'm just going to go do a puzzle for a while and not worry about anything else, because I just have to let all of the thoughts that are coming up process and all the frustration. I'm really frustrated at the chain of events that happened this morning, and that's okay. And I just need some time to kind of process that. David says, good morning, our mental angel. Well, thank you. I think I got a little bit more devil in me than angel, but I suppose Lucifer was a fallen angel, right? David Gap says, my head exploded this morning. Amanda would have loved the gore. I tell you, I probably have paid for James A. Janice's honeymoon at this point from Dead Meat, the Kill Count channel. I probably paid for his honeymoon and as many videos as I've watched in the last week. Good morning, Ophir. Dean says that weird stuff's happening to him too. Okay, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Bill Wickett Vogel asked, how do you choose what music you react to? Well, my Patreons get priority song requests, so a lot of it is dependent on what they are wanting me to respond to, react to. But sometimes I just see that there's a lot of a certain song in the comments. A lot of people are requesting the same song, or I just get my curiosity piqued about a certain song and choose to do that of my own volition. Oh, Dan says Mercury is in retrograde till June 3rd. That makes sense. That makes sense. And then June 4th is the anniversary of my mom's passing. So I guess I'm just going to have some weird energy for a bit. Vat says, I'm still here. It was rough, like always. I'm glad you're still here. And yeah, it can be rough, but I'm proud of you for continuing to fight. Somebody from Jakarta in here. That is amazing. Sharpshooter says, in regards to the roommate, we were close. He had a traumatic brain injury and suffered a stroke. He pretty much gave up on himself, but I could understand him and I brought some joy into his life. That is beautiful. That is really all we can do, is bring as much joy and as much positive energy into other people's lives as possible, into our own life. So that way, if something does happen to someone, we're looking back going, you know what, I made that person's life a little bit better. So I think that that's beautiful. Yeah, I'm okay, Damian. Just a bad day. I mean, everybody has them, right? Everybody has hard days, and today happens to be mine. So yes, I'm okay. I'm not having suicidal ideation or anything. My cravings kicked up a little bit this morning, I have to be honest. I'm coming up on my recovery anniversary next month, and I did start having some cravings for self-harm or for drugs this morning, but I've been managing that, so that's good. Listen to that Charles Bradley version of Black Sabbath's Changes yesterday. Talk about gut-wrenching. I have not heard either version of that song. Howdy. Sharkness Crazy says howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Oh, wow. David says, I'm sorry to hear that I lost my roommate of 9 years to COVID in the first 2 months of the plague. Still affects me 2+ years later. I haven't lost a roommate, but I have lost friends, and it is really hard to come to terms with. Oh, Pam says, you brought positive energy into mine, and I'm grateful for that. Before this channel, I thought I was alone. Oh my God. I needed to hear that this morning. I'm really glad that I could bring positivity and just community to people that are needing it. So thank you, Pam. That means a lot. That's really all I want to do, is just make sure that the people who feel invisible know that I see them and that they're seen and that they're valuable and worthy. Oh, Lee's over in England. Good early evening. Can it be evening here? I never drank chamomile tea in the mornings ever, but I'm just so stressed out today that, I mean, it beats day drinking. Right? That was kind of my mindset, is let's just have some chamomile tea. Damian, I do get cravings here and there, but it has been since 2018, June of 2018, since I have engaged in anything. So I've gotten pretty good at navigating those waters. So please don't worry about me. Sometimes you should try doing live stream reactions. There are vids that aren't copyright. Others, you can alter the transparency to 50% to avoid copyright. I've thought about doing live stream reactions. I do live reactions in Patreon sometimes. Sharkness Crazy says, yeah, I finally left a job that was causing me stress and pain just walking into the job. And now I've been losing weight as well. So things are looking up. Well, I know it's a little early for snaps, but snaps for Sharkness anyway. For any of you that don't know, we have a snap cup that we do. I do. Oh, David. Oh, thank you. I love you. I love you so much, my Jessie. Thank you, David. Whew. There's a tea out there that's specifically for stress. There's one by Yoga. What's that yoga tea company that they have a stress tea, and I've tried it, and it's pretty good. Is it normal to be more affected by the loss of someone later on in life? Yes. I realized that most of my losses that I experienced when I was younger, like my grandparents and my aunt, didn't affect me nearly as hard as losses. Of course, my parents affected me really hard, but even losses of people I wasn't particularly closer to hits me later in life. And I think part of that is because of our coming to terms with our own mortality at that point. And it kind of hits on a more personal level each time. Again, I'm really sorry that this camera seems to not want to focus. I have been trying to figure that out. Delicate Vocal asks, what music do you listen to while you are in an unhappy place? Do you listen to music that embraces that feeling, or do you listen to music to bring you out of the happy place? That actually depends. I'm assuming you meant out of the unhappy place. That really depends, Bill. There are times where I know that I need to validate my feelings, and I just want to kind of sit with where I'm at and process. So if I have lost someone, for example, or something is going on and it's really rational that I'm having intense emotions about it, then I tend to want to sit with it more and process that. But if I'm just feeling down like today, and yes, there's stressors, but it's nothing that is particularly life or death per se, I really will try to do things to bring myself out of it. So it really depends on my mood. I am going to read our good news story for the day because apparently I'm not the only one that needs some good news. Oh, I love though that Sharpshooter 7 says, I told him I wasn't going to leave no matter what. After that, he passed. I ended up keeping that promise. That's beautiful. I had a similar experience with my aunt when she passed away. Let's get our good news for the day. What do you say? So this is a young Indian group that have recycled 43,000 kilograms of waste in just 2 years. They run a garbage bank, which focuses on educating people about waste segregation, upcycling, and recycling. Revathi Rajaskaran, the former entrepreneurship development cell coordinator of VV Vanyaparamal College for Women, Varungar, would consistently instruct her students to segregate waste based on its type. Her department went on to install 3 different bins in each class for bio-waste, paper, and plastic. Eventually, when the whole college followed the method, there was a huge amount of garbage which they couldn't dispose of. But that's when she reached out to Garbage Bank to fix this. When it comes to garbage, segregation, upcycling, and recycling, this bank has a unique system that can address the issue at any scale. We started this work 6 years back with the realization that mixed garbage is a huge environmental issue that should be solved at the grassroots level. Our objective is to educate, empower, and enrich. In order to achieve this, we visit schools, colleges, hospitals, residential communities, and other institutions. We take classes, we teach people how to separate waste and collect garbage in order to recycle as well as upcycle, says Rajavali Ravik, a member of the Garbage Bank. There are a total of 15 volunteers to conduct classes and collect waste from different locations in the city. We started off as an educational forum by holding classes and workshops only. It was then we were instructed by some professionals that we should get to the next level, don't just educate people. That's when we began garbage collection as a 34-year-old. I think this is really cool because it takes a well-rounded approach. It's not just looking at one aspect. It's let's talk about upcycling, let's talk about recycling, and let's talk about the segregation of garbage. So I think that that's awesome, and it is run predominantly by youth, and I think that that's really beautiful to see our younger generation getting involved in things like this. What do you guys think? Dimitri says, did anyone sense mind attacks during March to May with doing a lot of weird things and weird conversation with high intelligence persons? And I have a feeling as I speak with extra natural beings, I do believe in mind attacks. I do believe that energy sometimes kind of just attacks us all at once, and I wouldn't know what to call that energy, but I have been feeling that a bit more in the past few months. So I think that is there's definitely something going on with the energetics of the world right now. I don't really even pretend to know how that works on a deep level, but I do think that there is something going on. Bonjour, Fred. Hi, Shay. It's Shay's first time. They're saying sorry that you're late. You're never late. Always arriving exactly when you're meant to. My garden is my lifesaver, David says. Plants put out a chemical that boosts serotonin production. I realized this morning that I hadn't watered my plants in 2 days and I had to go out and make sure that they were okay. Mental health, well, Hart, you are absolutely correct. Mental health issues involve everyone these days, not just an unlucky few. The stigma is really vanishing fast as COVID, the economy, and other stressors have overwhelmed most people. I think that in a way, these things are acting as catalysts to move the conversation forward. So, as tragic as they all are, I think in the realm of mental health, at least they're moving things in the right direction. Lee Wesley, my cat gave birth to 4 kittens 3 weeks ago now, and they are starting to walk around. It's just starting to annoy their mama cat. As children will do. My son has been driving me absolutely bat crap crazy. Thank you, Joker, so much. I have a question. Is there a normal amount of money I should donate to mental health issues? I mean, that is really absolutely up to you. Here, we have been trying to raise quite a bit of money for this upcoming project. Well, not quite a bit of money. It's actually not that much. We're raising $10,000 for this upcoming project, but we have people that are donating $5. We have people that are donating $500, $1,000. I mean, it's really how much you have to give and what you're called to do. There's not a certain amount. Everybody is different, and I appreciate every single person that is contributing to us expanding and being able to reach more people and help more people and fill in the gaps in the mental health system. That is my overall goal with the outreach I do, is filling in the gaps in the mental health system, because we have therapy and we have medication, but there's really nothing else. We're not teaching people skills. We're not showing people how to be at their optimal mental health. We're not providing community. There's so many holes that exist that I really aim to fill. And for that matter, when it comes to therapy, I also think that the access to it is a big problem, that we are having a really hard time getting access to therapy. And we live in a country where it's easier to get a gun than get a therapist. And I am not anti-gun, let me be clear, but I just think it's really sad that we have such a hard time getting someone mental health care. And if you break your leg, that's an emergency. You go to the emergency room, you receive immediate care. But if you're suicidal, that's not seen as an emergency, and you could wait. I had a friend who was really actively suicidal and waited just under right about a year for mental health treatment, and that is criminal. I just want to remind you guys that it does get a little bit overwhelming. I try to read as much of the chat as I can, but I can't read all the messages. So Joker was perfect in doing that. That if you want to make sure that I read your comment, just use that super sticker function. Sorry that I'm having a little bit of trouble talking this morning. Angelic Storm says, I was curious about something, if you don't mind me asking, but in the video of your former home, why were you scared of the Jesus statue? It wasn't a statue, it was a picture. And it wasn't that I was scared of Jesus, obviously. It was just that that particular portrait would look at you no matter where you were in the room. And it could have been a portrait of anybody. It was just extremely unsettling the way the portrait was done. There were other pictures of Jesus in the house that I had no problem with, or pictures of Jesus at the church I went to that I had no problem with. It was just that one was very creepy. Will Hart, amazing question. How do you handle all the toxic news we are bombarded by daily? I don't partake in it daily. I do not read the news daily. I do not scroll social media feeds. If I do have curiosity about something, then of course I will look. If someone shares something with me, then of course I sometimes look into that a little bit more. But I just don't see a value in entrenching myself constantly with these things, because it does affect my mental health. So I tend to be very selective about the media that I expose myself to. And if I do see something unsettling, it's more of a question of, okay, what can I do about this? Can I do something about this? Can I share a message? Can I create a video? Can I volunteer? I think of it more in terms of, okay, this is a problem. What can I do about it? What positive change can I make if this is really upsetting me and hurting me? And if there's nothing I can do, then that is exactly why I don't involve myself in news stories, because a lot of the time there really isn't anything that we can do, and just constantly reading about one crisis or tragedy after another isn't healthy. And the truth is for the most part, there's always been tragedy. There's always been bad news. Even when we were kids, there was always bad news. We just weren't constantly being subjected to it. But now, with the prevalence of social media and how someone can send you news in a flash with the phone, with a smartphone through a text, it's just a lot more readily available. So we have to be very selective about the media that we are exposing ourselves to. Let's see. I've been Sharpshooter 07 since I've been feeling the opposite. And looking after my roommate, I did what I came to do. There was no one else he trusted, and I can move on. Define move on. Move on as in accept his passing and find healing with that, I hope, is the move on that you mean, Sharpshooter. I love that we have so many new people here. That always makes me very happy. We're expanding. Hello, Andrew. Welcome. Damien OSullivan says, I've watched Fox News recently just to have it. See, I can't watch any of the major news stations because it's all just fear-mongering at this point, and they're very specific about what they want to focus on, and it's not just the left or the right. I just don't watch mainstream media because I think that they have too much of an agenda at this point. Congratulations, Seth. Seth has made a very big, my brain is just not wanting to function, milestone this morning. So snaps for Seth. Should we do the snap cup? I know that we have 2 hours, but you know what? We need all positivity we can get this morning. So we're going to do the snap cup early. For those of you that are new, this is based on Legally Blonde 2, where we just share our wins as a community and talk about some of the things that are going good in our lives. But that also means that it comes with the song. So who is ready? Snap cup time, gather ye round. Friends and foes together, united and bound. Pass it to your neighbor instead of blowing up, and you'll find harmony and love in a snap cup. Oh, gosh, thank you, Erin. Erin is pledging for me to sing the song. Yes, Edwarda, singing. Joker snaps 100 times. I love it. All right. So Shay is in here. I just saw you a minute ago. You are first here. I, for the most part, am not suicidal. My husband committed suicide 5 years ago in front of me. I call myself a survivor of suicide. This week, I found you. I didn't drink nearly as much. I didn't cry nearly as much. I didn't replay the same songs. I exercised, actually ate and slept. Great to know someone is out there addressing mental health, suicide, and overall healthy lifestyle. First and foremost, I am so proud of you for continuing to fight through something that had to have been very horrific to go through. And I hope that you're getting the support and healing that you need. Even though it was 5 years ago, I know things like this can still come up and can still be very difficult. So big snaps to you for getting through that. I always do say, though, when we're talking about someone who has lost their lives to suicide, committed sounds like a crime, and I just don't believe that suicide is a crime or something that we willfully do. I know that that's a big misconception, that we're choosing to do this, but it's just a matter of your pain outweighs your skills, and it takes you like any other disease. And you are a survivor. You're very much a survivor, so you're accurate in that statement. But I am so proud of you for those advances this week, and I'm humbled to be part of those. But knowing that you were able to curb the drinking, I'm hoping that you didn't cry as much because you didn't feel the need to, that you were just processing and you were feeling better, that you were just making healthy choices for yourself. I'm really, really, really proud of you. So snaps for Shay. I hope you're still in here. Craft with Kavya. I'm not ignoring you. I promise. I promise I'm not ignoring anyone. I love that. Look, everybody's snapping. You got it. Oh, I can cry. I might cry. Joker, you can't tell anybody not to cry. Everybody, it is healthy to cry sometimes. We need a, is there a snap emoji? There's the one that's kind of like a snap, isn't there? I think so. Just some awesome person. I've been having bad physical pain last 2 weeks due to an injury I got working out. Oh, those are the worst. I try to keep going because it's the best thing I can do. Sitting down and resting just hurts more. It sucks not being able to do everything the way I usually can, but I refuse to give into the depressing thoughts and tiredness that it brings with it, though, like I did in the past. Yay! Snaps to just some awesome person who I believe is also in here for combating those thoughts, for being able to fight back, because that's what we need to be doing, is fighting back when we're frustrated, when we're beaten down, when things just don't go our way, which really need to hear that this morning myself. I'm telling myself that too. But I'm very proud of you for being able to push through that frustration and do things differently this time, because it is easy once we get stuck in a pattern and we've done things for so long to just default back to that. But you did it differently this time, and I'm very proud of you. Andrew Hayes says, I've been battling my mental health for years, and since I left my toxic and abusive marriage, I've been feeling much better, and I moved on. Big snaps for Andrew Hayes. I know that the people that you're with, especially a romantic partner, can make a huge, 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 huge impact on your mental health. So I am very proud of you. I know that that's not easy. I myself am divorced. I know that it's not easy to do that, but lots of snaps for being able to walk away and find the happiness that you deserve. Oh, they're sticking together. Skull Crusher watched positive affirmations and comedy movies this week. I love when people can utilize snaps, when people can utilize those skills to shift their mindset, to shift their mood. Sometimes all we need is to step away from things. That's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon, is just stepping away from things for a bit and saying, okay, I need some time to laugh. I need some time to just think. I need some time to process. So big snaps for that. Susie Watts says, I've suffered from severe anorexia with binge purge subtype for the past 33 years and BPD, sadly, hun. I know that it can seem so insurmountable when it's been so long, but it had been several decades that I had struggled with a lot of my things as well. And it's never too late to find healing. And I do believe that you can find healing. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder as well, so you are in good company. And I know a lot of people that have struggled with binging and purging, and it is very, very possible to get help and to heal from that. So I believe in you, and thank you very much for sharing with us. I know that's not easy. Victor is here in the house. Victor Lopez, I still need you to email me your address for last week's headphones. As I said, we still have a few pairs here. This will be the last week that I'm doing this. If you want to get your own headphones, like my little kitty headphones, we have blue and we have pink, and I will write a personal note. I will sign them, and then I will write a personal note and mail them to you this weekend, or maybe the beginning of next week. And everyone that ordered theirs last week, that pledged for them, should be getting them within the next week as well. Zebulon says, I've been healthy about admitting that it's okay to be sad about my dad's death, but happy I'm still alive, that I miss him, but happy he's in a better place. I snaps for that, for being able to admit where you're at, just accepting where you're at. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to not feel happy all the time, especially when we've lost someone. So snaps to you for being able to just hold space for yourself during that time. Lost Lothbrok says, recently I managed to push myself out of my mental trap of laziness. I finally took the action of dieting and going to the gym. My body is sore, but I feel so happy. I will give you big, big snaps for that, for breaking free of that mental trap, and for taking action with your mental health. But I will argue that it is not laziness. You are not lazy. Sometimes when we're really in that state and we're struggling, we need deep rest. We have to rest. And instead of calling ourselves lazy, we should be asking ourselves, why is my body needing so much rest right now? So I am proud of you for seeing that you were falling into that mental trap and taking action against it. But you are not lazy, my dear. Thank you, Richard. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Victor, my email got shut down. Is there another way? I'm also on Instagram if you want to message me there. I'm trying to think of another way. I'll think and see if there's another way. But I do have Instagram, so you can also message there. Thank you, Amanda. Just some awesome person says, thank you, Amanda. Today the pain is gone. I'm just really tired. I couldn't sleep from the pain. I don't recommend partially tearing muscle. I found out how important glutes are, though. Erin, are you still in here? I think that you would probably be the best person to speak about this. Edward as well. I know both of you have experienced injuries from working out in the past and have been able to combat the emotions that come with that. Andrew Hayes says, and to add to that, I was married for 11 years and thought she was the one, but I slowly started to open my eyes to her true self. You know, I received one of the best pieces of advice I've gotten in regards to divorce last week, because I have a friend that I hadn't really been in touch with for a very long time that had come back into my life because he's going through a divorce, and I reached out and just offered some support and stuff and asked if he needed to talk. And we got to talking, and he said, I don't look at my marriage as a failure. I just look at it as complete, because I got 2 beautiful children out of it, and we had all these amazing experiences and all these amazing memories, and it came to an end. I didn't fail. She didn't fail. It just came to an end. And that was probably the most beautiful piece of advice I have ever heard about divorce. And that is how I look at mine as well. I have no ill will toward my ex. I don't think that anybody failed. I just think that we went through what we were meant to go through, and now it's complete. Joker, I broke away from my sports addiction. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for another pledge there, and snaps to you for breaking away from that. Addictions can be so many different things and appear in so many different ways, just as avoidance behavior, and I'm proud of you for that. Good job. Yes, Victor Lopez, I am Amanda Webster Health on Instagram, so you can message me there with your address so I can get you your kitty headphones. Vot, are you still in here? Vot Vicar says, I had a day off and walked to the bridge where I was going to commit suicide, where you almost lost your life to suicide, back in 2014. I took a few photos. While doing so, I asked myself, why am I still here? I still don't have an answer, but I don't feel ready to leave. And that is a-okay that you don't have an answer. You faced that, and I'm very proud of you. So snaps for facing that, and snaps for potentially turning it into something beautiful with the pictures, and just seeing that and having it as a reminder that you are here and you are fighting, and it's okay to not always have all of the answers. We're always so hyper focused on trying to solve things and figure things out, when sometimes we just have to allow the process to unfold and the answers come in time. And I'm learning that more and more these days, that sometimes there really aren't answers, and we have to accept that as well. But I think that the reason that we're here and the reason that we exist is completely independent for each person. My raison d'être is going to be a lot different from your reason to be, raison d'être. So I think that it really just depends on what you want your life to be, and what you want your life to mean, and what you want to share with the world. There is no one right answer. It's just really what it is you truly desire. Wrong cup, right? Bye, Joker. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, they keep trying to come out 2 at a time today. Convicted with a 1 instead of an I. Had a bad day and thought, man, a painkiller can fix it. Then I went to my reason not to, a look at my prison ID, and overcame my urge. Snaps to you for overcoming urges. I've been battling that this morning myself. I know that it can be very difficult, but I'm very proud of you for overcoming that and for using your symbol, your reminder to combat that. I have a lot of my own reminders, so that's very big to me. I have pretty much everything everywhere is just little reminders to me, or little nudges, or little hugs. David, you'll like this. My background right now is Aaron Paul with his tattoo showing this is no half measures. So I'm just really big on reminders and things that are going to raise our vibes all around. So whether it's on your mirror or on your background, the background on my phone says "No te bastardes caborandorum," which means don't let the bastards grind you down. I just have reminders everywhere, so I am a big proponent of reminders. David's right. The fact that you're asking the questions of why you're here is a positive sign. You're still searching and exploring. I think that's what life is really about, is searching and exploring and being curious. If you don't know, just being curious can often be enough. Keenan 8. I had heavy depression and attempted, but I found out the reason for my depression was a toxic friend who I'd considered my best friend. We're no longer friends, and I'm happy now. Snaps to you. That is so immensely difficult when you realize that a best friend isn't good for you. And I had this, my ride or die from my teenage years. She was my best friend for about 4.5 years. We were just absolutely inseparable. And I finally got to the point of realizing that she wasn't bringing anything positive to my life. In fact, she was doing a lot of damage to my life. So I stopped interacting with her. It was a very difficult decision, but I did feel my mental health massively improve after that. And we often feel guilty because we think, what if they need us, or we're abandoning them? But we gave these people, in my case, I gave her an opportunity to grow with me, and she chose not to. That's not my fault at that point, that she could not grow with me, and that she was not ready to be on the same path that I was. And sometimes we can't keep everyone in our life, and we have to let people go and be on their own path. And that is completely healthy for everyone involved, because she shouldn't have to be around me if I'm constantly going to be wanting her to change, and I shouldn't have to be around her if her energy and her behavior is causing me mental duress. So there's nothing healthy about staying in a relationship that's toxic, either or both ways. It's a very, very powerful decision to walk away. So I'm very proud of you for that. David Cap says that is science, bitch. John Smith. I haven't shut down. Still doing the people thing and trying to interact, have real conversation. Snaps to you for trying and putting yourself out there and being open to peopling. I struggle to people sometimes too, believe it or not. So I have a lot of empathy for that. And I'm proud of you for continuing to try and continuing to put yourself out there. And just remember that you set your boundaries. And if you are uncomfortable in a situation, you have every right in the world to walk away guilt-free. You don't have to explain. You don't have to do anything. Just walk away and be proud of yourself for standing up for yourself and for setting boundaries. Angelic, Florian Burr, my world. Don't need to do a reaction to this. Just tell me what you think. Music like this has carried me through some of my darkest times. Will do. I will definitely give you my feedback, and thank you for the pledge. Lee says, when I start to feel a little stressed out, I start thinking about drinking again, even though I do not want to. I have the same issue when things get very stressful. As I was saying, like this morning, I start having cravings. Once you've been in that cycle, it is hard to break your mind out of it. And I know I'm not going to do anything, but the thoughts are still there. Just do your best to set up alternatives to the drinking, things like chamomile tea out of a Walter White cup that are going to help you cope with those cravings as they come. Because when we have a plan for the cravings, then we're less likely to give in to them. Joke. Thanks for the potato, Joker. That makes me think. Okay, Joker just pledged with a message that says potato. I have no idea what Joker is referring to, but that reminds me of a joke that there's a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead, and they're all running from the police. And they run into this abandoned barn, and they see 3 sacks on the ground, and they all hide in the sacks. And the cops come in, and they see the sacks, and they nudge the one with the brunette, and the brunette goes, meow, meow. And they say, oh, it's just a cat. No big deal. So they nudge the next one that's the redhead, and she goes, woof, woof. And they say, oh, it's just a dog. And then they get to the sack with the blonde, and they nudge the sack with the blonde. Nothing. They nudge it again. Nothing. The police nudges it one more time, and she goes, duh, potatoes. That's one of my favorite blonde jokes. So thanks for making me think of my cheesy blonde joke. Aaron says, I like potatoes. Do not torture me about potatoes. And it goes so long without potatoes. Zebulon says, my best friend was my ex. I had often acknowledged the depravity of that simple fact, yet recent events have taught me to be more businesslike with my 100% platonic friend. You know, sometimes, again, that goes back to boundaries, setting boundaries for friendships and relationships. Casca just had mashed potatoes with some endive and applesauce. I used to have a lot of mashed potatoes growing up. Mashed potatoes was definitely a staple in my house. Applesauce, I only like cinnamon applesauce, but we definitely almost always have that around here. Really? Was I the blonde in that joke, Aaron? Really? Just some awesome person says, I now made it a habit to do 3 sets of 20 bicep curls every time I feel the urge to smoke. It helps a lot, and I'm smoking 25% less, plus I'll have huge arms by the end of the year. I did that for a while too. When I was fresh in recovery, I had certain things that I would do. For me, it was squats and stuff, that anytime I had a craving, I would do certain things like that. And it really is incredibly effective, because cravings typically only last a couple of minutes, and they might come one after the other, but if you can get through that couple of minutes, they will start to wane and it becomes easier to deal with. It's the same with a panic attack. If you can distract yourself for about 10 minutes, that's why I made that video that is affirmations and helps through a panic or anxiety attack, because if you can get through about 10 minutes, then the intensity of it will start to fade. Damien OSullivan says, Damian's telling Aaron to cook me potatoes for a week. Aaron actually makes really good herb potatoes, so wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Wilbur says, I'm an alcoholic. I have been sober for about 3 years. Snaps for Wilbur's sobriety. Yes, Aaron did make me vegan mashed potatoes, and they were delicious. Bryson tried to throw a fit about them, but I don't understand why. My kid doesn't really like mashed potatoes, doesn't really like spaghetti. He argues on the weirdest stuff. I don't get it. I think my kid's an alien, which is totally fine. I do not discriminate against other species. I'm not speciesist. Is that species? David says, Aaron, she likes the cleaning more than the cooking. I can tell you that's true for almost all women. I'm not special in that case. Metal Mark, what did the blonde say when her boyfriend blew in her ear? Thanks for the refill. Oh, I love cheesy jokes. I love it. I love it. I love baked potato skins. Oh man, it's been a long time since I've had baked potato skins. Antonio says, Dimash has become my antidepressant. His music is so inspired. SOS really resonated with me. Please react to other of his performances. Lost an aunt to suicide. Wish she would have had SOS. I very much agree that just hearing one Dimash song was very healing that day. It did have a lot of energy that raised my vibe. So I definitely will be diving into more Dimash. I'm really sorry about your aunt. My condolences. I do think that hindsight's 2020, and we always wonder what we could have done, but in many cases we could have done everything right, and it might not have changed anything at all. But I will say, as someone who was in that position, that underneath the symptoms of depression, I knew that the people in my life loved me, and that what the shadow was telling me wasn't true. It just became too overwhelming at the time. And there was just, I couldn't think of what to do. And I don't think anyone else really could have told me what to do in that moment. It was something I had to learn for myself. And I did need a stronger support system for sure. But I think that I had to learn it for myself. And I had to really start going through the uncomfortable stuff to get to the other side. And not everybody is willing to do that. And there's nothing we can really do to force them. So I hope that your aunt rests in peace. And I hope that you find the peace and healing that you deserve. John Beva says, I can bury y'all in tater recipes. I love that you said tater. I love it. Taters. Bye, Victor. Make sure to message me on Instagram so I can get your address and get you your kitty headphones. Sean Bond says, I just got out of prison after 16 years for 2 aggravated robberies. Both parents died of cancer, and my aunt sold both houses and left me homeless. I have PTSD, anxiety, and bipolar disorder along with. That is definitely a lot. And I'm glad that you're free, and I hope that you can find people to connect with, programs to connect with that can help you to really reacclimate into society, because that would be a shock to anyone's system. So it doesn't make you crazy or abnormal or anything that you're going through what you're going through. Of course, that is a lot. And I know some people might try to judge, but we all have our skeletons in our closet. I spent time in jail, and I really think that we should do more to help ex-convicts or people who have been in jail. I think that we should be helping them reacclimate to society, and we should be helping them heal so that they don't just become repeat offenders. So I really do hope that you can find some positive energy here, that we can help you reacclimate into society and help you find yourself and build a new life. Because that's so, I can't even imagine losing both my parents while incarcerated. I'm so sorry that you went through that. I hope that you're able to say goodbye in your own way, and that you're able to heal, that you're able to connect with their memory. And I think that you can build a whole new life, and it's going to be really difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. It will be difficult, but I believe that you can build a new life that you can be fulfilled with, even with these tragic losses, even with losing your house. It's never too late to start over. Oh, and you have an opportunity to get a job today, but I need non-slip shoes, and I don't have any family or friends to help. Where are you at, Sean? So we can see what we can do. I bet you that there would be a lot of people that would be willing to get you some shoes. Zabulin says, when I have the urge to smoke tobacco, I eat Clemente Jacques jalapenos with cheese and water. It cuts the craving for 3 to 6 months just from that one extremely simple meal. Wow, that's crazy. I don't blame you, Sean, for going stir crazy right now. That is completely understandable. Damien OSullivan, I often wonder, how do I affect people I come across? Well, I think that we have a huge influence on how we affect the people we come across. We have an influence on whether we have a positive effect or a more toxic effect. And just from interacting with you over the time that we've been talking, I know that you come in here quite frequently. I imagine that you have a positive effect on people. And sometimes we don't realize how the smallest things can affect another person's life, that the smallest gestures, even just a smile, even a hello, even a note, or a random act of kindness, we have absolutely no idea how far those ripples can go. And I think that allowing the mind to just kind of think, what if I affected this person who affected another person, and it just kind of trickled right on down the trail. It's impossible to understand how many people any one person can influence and affect. Edward's right. Don't forget to love the sweet potato. I actually prefer sweet potatoes to potatoes. Pam Heisler. Any suggestions as to how to break an addiction? It's different for each person. For me, I struggled with cocaine addiction. I struggled with self-harm. And it was meeting Mike Shinoda back in 2018 that just made me realize that I was being a hypocrite because I was doing all of this volunteer work and hashtagging Make Chester Proud. But then here I was going down the same route that took Chester down in many ways. And when I met Mike and I hugged him, I just realized, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And the second I made that decision and said, I'm done, I realized that I was going to do whatever it took to really stop and to really move forward and go into recovery. I didn't really know what that was at the time, but I was very determined nothing in the world was going to stop me. And I don't know if you could see it. I've tried to show this before. I have a little puzzle piece tattoo that Mike had drawn on me, and that's my reminder not to self-harm, and it also often acts as a reminder when I am craving, when my cravings kick up really hard. But I mean, different things work for different people. Some people really need the support of a group like NA or AA. Some people really just need to sit down and figure out, why am I doing this? Why is this addiction so prevalent? For me, I was trying to escape my relationship at the time because I didn't know what to do. I was trying my best in the relationship, or I was trying to escape the pain from losing my mom. I didn't want to lean into these feelings, so I kept trying to avoid them, and that's what the drugs were providing. So if you can, oftentimes, if you can pinpoint what it is the drugs are providing, you can start to find, or whatever the case is. I say drugs, but there's a million things you could be addicted to. When you can find out what it's providing for you, you can start brainstorming what other things you could use to replace it with. But there are so many different things that people do to combat addiction. Those are just a few: is finding your why, finding support, and finding the initial why was finding your why is into why you're wanting to go into recovery. But then also, why are you turning to this vice in the first place, so you can try and find alternatives. Apparently, there is a fund here to get me a Mr. Potato. Why not a Mrs. Potato, sexist David? Just kidding. Oh, thank you, David, for sharing that link with Sean to hopefully help him a little bit. Okay, Sean is in Houston, Texas. Sean, if you can email me, do you need the shoes today? I actually know some people in Texas, so I think I would be able to help in some way. If not, heck, I will buy you a pair of shoes myself if it helps you get back into the world. Andrew says, I used to have a lot of anxiety about being in huge crowds of people, but now that I've gotten older, I've managed to get over my fear of being in huge crowds. Snaps to you for confronting that. I'm curious if you used exposure therapy or what you did to overcome that. I think a lot of people here could use the insight of someone who has overcome something like that. I used to be, after my mom passed away, I was incredibly agoraphobic. I didn't want to leave my house. And if I did, I could only leave for short periods of time. I couldn't go more than a few miles. If I went more than, say, 10, 15 miles from my house, I would have panic attacks. So I completely understand. I had to start healing other things in my life because obviously I was afraid. I was afraid of leaving because I was afraid of dying. I was afraid of having a panic attack and embarrassing myself. So I had to really start tackling all of these other things little bit by little bit. But I'm curious what your method was. Aaron pledged to get Sean some shoes. Yes, we are going to get Sean shoes. If Sean needs shoes, we are going to get Sean shoes. Oh, now Joker got 2 potatoes. We're gonna play hot potato in here. Thank you, guys. We are all connected, Mark. You're absolutely right. Don Nelson says, after a lifetime of severe anxiety and depression, along with recent serious health issues, past addictions, little finances, and no help, I feel like giving up. You've come to the right place because we will not abandon you, and we care if your light goes out. And you know what? I have had decades of really severe depression, suicidal ideation, addiction, self-harm, you name it. I did not have finances. I'm still not well off. There are times where things have been incredibly concerning. So I promise you, I don't know how you feel, but I've been in a similar situation and it is possible to get to the other side. It just takes sometimes restructuring your entire life, sometimes just getting a little bit of insight. But we are here to help you and support you and hold space for you. And it's not too late. I understand that feeling of wanting to give up just because you have no help, but we are here to help you. We're here to carry you through this time, Dawn. So please don't give up. Please keep fighting, and we will fight right along with you. Warrior Poet says, writing poems and lyrics after my divorce in 2011 really helped me. That explains the Warrior Poet. I didn't want to relapse, and I found solace in putting words on paper, hence my username. Yep, it's your username. I used to write poems when I was younger in my teenage years. That really helped me. And now just journaling, I found really helps, writing out what I feel, sometimes just talking aloud about how I feel, getting it out of my head. The important thing in this is just getting it out of your head. Even if it's talking to your life-size Jesse Pinkman in your room, who would do that, right? No matter what it is, though, just getting it out of your head is paramount. And yes, that's a very good way of doing that. Sean, my email is in the description of my videos, so email me and I will do my best to help out as soon as possible. Zebulon says, what did the gorgeous blonde do when she was told to get a job? She turned her favorite hobby, paper airplanes, into a job and became a trillionaire in 3 years. That would be pretty awesome. Sweet tater pie. Vat says, I'm not so talkative today. I'm sorry, my mind drifting all the time. That is okay. You don't have to talk if you are not comfortable. We can just send you the energy. Oh, Francisco, brother, I live in Houston, Texas. Please, please, please let me know what you need help with, and I'd be more than happy to help you. Oh my God, this makes me so happy. This makes me so happy. Francisco, Sean, please connect you guys so that we can make sure that Sean is getting what he needs. This warms my heart so much. Everybody jumping to help each other. It's just like last week we ended up having the chain of people getting the headphones for each other, and it was so amazing. Andrew says, I went to an overcrowded expo with a friend and exposed myself to the crowds. Yep. A lot of it is exposure therapy. It's facing what you're afraid of. Joker says, you went to jail, Amanda. What for? Yeah, I spent 47 days in jail. It was from something that happened when I was a teenager, and when my dad passed away, they wouldn't transfer my probation so I could go and be with my mom in Ohio. She wanted to go home and be with her family, and my dad had made me promise that I'd get her home to Ohio to be with her family, and my probation officer would not transfer my probation, so I absconded, and then ended up spending 47 days in jail for absconding for several years. So that was definitely a very interesting experience. Goldie, I'm sorry that you're feeling hopeless. What's going on? What? I know that the kitties were having troubles last week. How are they doing? Richie, oh, thank you. I'm coming up on 16 years clean and sober, and what helps me most is helping others in need. Let's get Sean some shoes. Thank you, Richie. Very proud of you for your sobriety and your recovery, and thank you. We're going to get Sean some shoes. No matter what we have to do, somebody in here is going to get Sean shoes today. As long as Sean reaches out, just email me, give me your address. Francisco, I think you already emailed me, so I will do my best to connect everyone, make sure that we are going to get Sean shoes. That is our accomplishment of the day, is making sure that Sean has shoes. I understand how hard it can be sometimes when you just have those little things you need, and it seems like the universe is conspiring against you. So happy I did this stream. There was that little part of me this morning that said, if you just don't do the stream and you say that you're struggling, they'll understand. And I know you guys would, but I came in here because I knew that we would all boost each other's energy, and I needed it just as much as you guys did this week. So, this is so beautiful. I'm so grateful to be part of this. David, can you get Sean my email, please? And thank you. Master Ganja says, I remember when I was in Iraq, we were surrounded by 40 insurgent fighters and my soldiers were terrified. I simply looked at them and said, I know you're scared. I am too. All of us came home. I think that, well, thank you for your sacrifice, first and foremost. But I think oftentimes people just need to know that they're not alone in their fear. And I have had some situations recently that are bringing on a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty and a lot of insecurity. And just hearing that I'm not alone in that is so powerful and really helps me push forward a lot of times. Andrew says, just watching the stream has lifted my spirits. It's lifted mine too. Anyone left-handed? My son is left-handed, actually. Oh, Master Ganja says, I also gave my son his first salute as an officer in the Navy. I bet that was beautiful. Hi, Jonathan. Casca says, first time in years that I helped someone with Reiki today. Nice to know I haven't forgotten how to do it, even though a bit rusty. I was trained in Reiki as well, and I haven't used it in a while. So I admire that a lot, and I am glad that you could help someone with that. I remember the Choku Rei. I remember that one. I do remember that symbol. Oh, Master Ganja is a 6th generation veteran. I'm the 5th. So beautiful. Metal Mark asked, Amanda, do you have a ritual or method to overcome any urges of a bad habit you need to or are trying to break? Like I said, for me, it's different for each one, but I am big on symbols. I'm big on reminders. So I have reminders all over, like I said, but if the cravings get really bad, I will walk away from whatever I'm doing and either run my hands under really cold water, run my feet under really hot water, drink some water. I have essential oils that I'll put on immediately and just do something that takes my mind off of it, whether that is watching an episode of a show that I really enjoy or watching a kill count or on Dead Meat James or Dead Meat over on that channel. That's one of my favorite things to do, or watching a Cinema Sins or a Ryan George, something that I enjoy, just something that's going to take my mind off of it. Even if it's something I've seen a million times, just something that's going to bring me comfort in that moment. Repeatedly watching things is a trauma response, and it's something that immensely brings us comfort. So that is pretty much my ritual. It changes up a little bit every time, but I will do the best I can to stop what I'm doing, take some time, even if it's just to go to the bathroom, utilize the water. I carry essential oils on me, so utilize the essential oils. I have that new breathing apparatus that I was showing everybody. I actually used that twice this morning. My son's been using it, and it's been very, very helpful for him. So I have a hard time regulating breathing on my own. That has been very helpful in really making sure that I'm breathing deeply and getting the most benefits I can out of that. So that has been my new skill that I have added. But my reminders, making sure that my reminders are around. I actually wrote a letter to myself, and I would read it whenever I started having cravings. So when I was in my right state of mind, I would write a letter to myself. I still have several of these. Write letters to myself of what I know I needed to hear when I was in those moments. Thank you, Andrew. We're going to get Sean some shoes for sure. Reiki, Damian, Reiki is an energy practice of clearing the chakras. Let's see. Goldie, oh, Goldie, I had to put the cat down. It's so hard. My other cat's struggling. I'm feeling helpless. It was so expensive. I didn't have the money. I miss her so much. I am so sorry for your loss. Pets, our family, and losing them is so difficult. I think that you're going to be there for your other kitty. And I think that you were there and you gave that one so much love. And that's the best we can do, as pet parents, is to just make sure that we give them as much love as we can when they're here, which you obviously did. And you're loving and helping the other one that is struggling and that is grieving right now. But my dogs did that when my mom passed away. Both of my dogs went through their own grieving process, and we have to hold space for that just like we do a human. Give them extra love and affection, maybe some extra treats, but they're going to go through the grieving process just like you. And be gentle on yourself, because you just lost a member of your family, and you deserve to be able to heal on your timeline and heal in whatever way you think is best. But we are holding space here for you and the kitties, and just thinking about the one crossing the rainbow bridge and the other one being able to be here with you and be loved. How lucky are these cats? There's so many cats that are homeless these days, and so many cats that will never know love, and yours did. Yours knew and know love, and that's beautiful. I hear Reiki, and I think WWE Reiki. David, only you. No, not only you. I have a lot of wrestling friends that would be the same. Joker says, chant with me. Sean needs shoes. Sean needs shoes. We're going to get Sean shoes. Woo the dude. I think this is the first time I've actually been watching one of these while it's happening. Yay! I'm glad you could join us live today. I believe I sent an email correctly. All this is kind of new to me. I will check. You know what? I'm going to check right now just to make sure that I got it. Yep, I sure did. I got your email, Sean, so I'll make sure to respond to that as soon as the stream is over and get you what you need. An Irish penguin? What? Oh, there's actually all I saw was David saying an Irish penguin. Okay, an Irish penguin says, can I ask you, when my depression gets really bad, I isolate myself from my friends and stay radio silent. They tell me it's a bad thing to do, but I find it's the only way that helps me. If it is helping you, this is a completely natural response, and it can be very healing if it is helping you. So if you are just taking some time away from social activity and stuff to regain your bearings and be yourself again, get back to being yourself again, A-okay. If you're isolating yourself and you find that that is actually having a negative impact on your mental health, and you find yourself getting more and more drawn into those symptoms of depression, then reaching out is definitely encouraged. But your friends can't tell you what is best for you, and that is one of those moments where you have to check in with yourself and really be cognizant about what you need and being honest with yourself about what you need. So when you're struggling with your mental health, don't listen to other people unless you're asking for their input, obviously. And even then, it's not like you have to actually take their advice or accept their opinion as absolute truth and gold. You know what's best for you. And if that is what it is, then there are times when I know I need to isolate and be away from people and just get back to myself. Master Ganja says, my son always says I'm the most bullheaded person ever. I said, so are you. My mom can't help but laugh. My kid's pretty bullheaded too. Sean Bond, you're already ahead of me with sending a mail. I'm never sure if I did it right. I struggle so much with technology. I'm always wondering if I'm doing things right. Eugene lost track of time. You're still here. Unfortunately, we have 2 hours today, so we still have plenty of time. There is a hair that's on my shirt. Okay, that's driving me crazy. Sorry. Vought Vicar says, I try to cheer myself up. It's weird that everything I do pulls me further down. Even one of my favorite songs. It'll be a hard night. I think that there's times when the things that we're used to utilizing just don't work, and we kind of have to branch out a little bit. I have gotten to the point where the songs that I typically relied on stopped working, or the things that I did, the habits that I had kind of stopped working and I had to readjust a little bit. I think that's normal to have to readjust our coping mechanisms. It's why I always suggest that toolbox like I teach in the Happiness Boost course, which if you guys have not taken the free 5-day challenge, link is in the description of the videos. Make sure to do that because I teach how to build a toolbox for managing when things get overwhelming, how to restructure your life for optimal mental health. So I pop into your inbox every day for 5 days to teach you about how I got out of that darkness and am now living a life that, bad days be as they will, is still really amazing, really beautiful, and overall pretty darn happy. But that's happinessboost.life, and the link is in the description of the videos. Just some awesome person. I'm 23, and if my phone or PC won't work, I'm close to grabbing a hammer to solve it. Yeah, I've definitely raged on technology a time or two. As you can see, I do not have this uber professional setup. I don't have this uber professional equipment and stuff because I just don't know how to use it all. So I'm learning with you guys. Sean says, Miss Amanda, it's 1:06 in Texas, and I need to be in at 3. Just a reminder, no rush. I'm very grateful. Irish Penguin says, thank you. I appreciate the advice. I really do think it helps. And yes, I will email you back as soon as I get off here. Irish Penguin, thank you. I appreciate the advice. I really do think it helps me a lot. I don't find any negative side effects from isolating other maybe than self-loathing. Well, then maybe that's something also to reflect on, is if all of these thoughts of self-loathing are coming up when you are isolating, maybe those are things that you need to work through. Maybe those are stuck tapes that you're needing to rewrite, because if we are sitting with ourselves and we hear this voice in our head telling us these hateful things, that shadow starts kicking up and telling us hateful things, make no mistake, somebody put that tape in your life at some point in your life. At some point, somebody put that thought in your head, and that doesn't mean it's absolute truth. So I think taking the time when you are alone to start combating these thoughts, to start noting the thoughts that are coming up and then finding ways to rewrite them and combat them. And that's something else that we do in the Happiness Boost course. So that is something that you probably will really benefit from, that free 5-day challenge. I'm so tired today. I think that we're always so hard on ourselves when we struggle, when we have these difficult situations. We think that we're supposed to get through it in some certain way, or we're supposed to always avoid difficult emotions, and that doesn't happen. That's not how life works. When we have loss or traumatic situations, we're meant to hurt. We're meant to struggle. When we have big decisions, we're meant to be a little bit stressed out about those, because we have to really think and reflect. And we aren't even taught how to do that at any point. We're not taught how to just sit with ourselves and not do anything and think and reflect. Edward says, you certainly know yourself the best. David's correct. Always important to let your loved ones know you're okay, especially if it's for that long. Perhaps try another outlet. Agreed. So I do think, checking in is very important. Just so people don't worry, Andrew Hayes, my godparents were Hayes, and it's a sign that my godmother is with my mom and grandma and dad still taking care of their baby. That's awesome. David says, I lay awake in awkward positions so I don't disturb my cat. I think the day will come too soon that she won't be there. I feel for your loss. Paris, my albino chihuahua that I had for 15 years, she would always sleep at the curve right here of my body. And it was so weird to adjust to sleeping without her. And I think that was one of the things that made my insomnia the hardest, is because for 15 years I'd been sleeping with her. And then when she started declining, because she had doggy dementia and she went blind, and I was afraid that she was going to fall off the bed or that something was going to happen. So I made a little bed for her on the floor, and she started sleeping there, which I know had to have been weird for her. And I just didn't know what to do. And I felt like every decision I made was wrong, but it was very difficult to adjust to her not being there. Edward says, to avoid isolation, Amanda's Patreon is a nice outlet that has helped me and others. Thank you so much. We are such a tight little pack over there, and we really reach out to each other and hold space for each other. So we do Zoom calls, so we hang out twice a month. I believe that the next one is tomorrow. I don't have my calendar right here, but I believe the next one is tomorrow. We have these little Zoom calls, and we just hang out and talk with each other and laugh and have a whole lot of Breaking Bad references and a whole lot of Dexter references and share where we're at in our lives. So instead of a chat like this, we're all on video call. And of course, you can disable your camera if you want, but it is very nice to have that little community, that little pack where we can all go and feel safe and talk. So thank you for that, Edward. Damian says, you tired? Try after 4 a.m., which is now. I've been sleeping better. I've been doing really well with the insomnia. So for the past couple of weeks, I've really had a lot of progress. Just last night, my emotions were all over the place. My thoughts were all over the place. And I did sleep a fair amount, but I woke up very, very early and couldn't go back to sleep. So I am very tired today. Look at all the virtual hugs going around. Look, more virtual hugs. I'm virtually hugging you back with formal gratitude and that release relaxation feeling that comes from human hugging. The hugs are virtual, but the feeling is real. It can be very much real. Andrew, my dog, had breast cancer too. She had doggy dementia. She went blind and she had breast cancer. We had that removed, but the doggy dementia ended up declining too much. Edward, don't be salty that you can't finish the show. My chamomile tea has gotten cold. Dexter is about an inch away from being a trigger word for me after that finale. Oh my gosh. I won't give any spoilers to anyone that did not watch the Dexter reboot, but that was one of the biggest disappointments on the face of the planet. And I thought that the original Lumberjack ending was the worst thing on the face of the planet, and it couldn't possibly be any more terrible than that. I stand corrected. So kudos to them for proving me wrong because it was just so awful. And I was biting at the bit when I heard that they were rebooting Dexter for this mini series. I was so excited and kind of pacing for days leading up to it, going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, finally get an extension of it. We're finally getting it, maybe a real ending or something. I don't know. And I just remember the end of it happening and just sitting there staring at the screen for several minutes afterward, thinking, I had to process how terrible it really was, because it sucks when you really become emotionally invested in something and they really let you down. And that's a gamble you take when you get really into shows and emotionally invested in characters like I do. Oh, Edward says the Ozark ending sucked. Glad I didn't watch that because everybody told me to get into that too, and I didn't. And I'm glad that I did not. Now I know better. Casca says the Game of Thrones ending triggers me. I've never watched Game of Thrones, but I've never met a single person that thought the ending was good. So. Metalheads and headbangers here. All these song suggestions for fellow metalheads. You know, you guys are pulling me in a little bit. Master Ganja says Game of Thrones confuses me. Don't tell me how to play the game. Yeah, I watched one episode of Game of Thrones and said I can't do this. And not just because it's kind of rapey and triggery in that aspect. I can get past that because I watched Handmaid's Tale and it has a lot of sexual assault and suicide and hanging and things like that. And I did manage to use it as exposure therapy to begin to heal from some of that imagery. But Game of Thrones just didn't seem to be worth the payoff. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you just have to watch so many episodes. That is not how it works for me. If you do not draw me in the first episode of a show, I am not going to invest in it because I just don't think that that is how art works. It's the same with a book. If the first couple pages don't draw me in, I might read a chapter, and if I'm not captivated by that chapter, I'm not going to keep reading the book just because somebody says, oh, well, you might get into it. I have to be enraptured right off the bat, or I'm just not going to invest time in it. No, all of these I can't write down all these song recommendations, guys. And David says, I found Amanda because of metal. Slipknot. I think that typically when it comes to series like that, the books are much, much better. I don't mind political, Eugene. Eugene saying that Game of Thrones is highly political. I don't mind things being political because I think that Handmaid's Tale is a bit political too. It has a bit of a political undertone as well. But again, there has to be a payoff and a reason for it. And I just couldn't see any value. Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I watched 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. Maybe not. Maybe I only watched 1. I already forgot what happened. It just didn't do anything for me. Metal Mark, we may eventually turn Amanda into a full-fledged metalhead. I've been one since 1981. I don't know if you're going to be able to overwrite the NSYNC and Linkin Park and Backstreet Boys, and you love how I'm just throwing all these George Jones. I mean, my interests are definitely all over the place. I'm not saying I don't appreciate some of the metal. I really do. So can you be a metal hair, a metal ear, like part of the head? Do they assign part of the head if you're only partially a metal fan? Can a pastor be a metalhead? I'm here to tell you, hells yeah. Oh gosh. Goldie says, I couldn't get into Game of Thrones. I tried so hard and got so far. But in the end, it didn't even matter. So many characters. Yes, that was the other problem is within 2 episodes, they've introduced 50 characters and I have no emotional investment in any of them. Any of them at all. I don't know who I'm supposed to be following or who I'm supposed to be rooting for or who I'm supposed to actually be taking notes about. It was very, very, very overwhelming. I don't mind there being a variety of characters, obviously, but for the most part, usually a show will follow a couple of characters. Like Better Call Saul follows Saul and it follows Mike, and that's fine, and there's a whole bunch of different characters in there, but the characters are there for a reason and serve some purpose to the central storyline, and if there's 100 characters, I just can't wrap my head around it. My memory is not that good to remember that many, and I just feel like there wasn't that deeper part that provoked me to be emotionally invested in them. Yes, Game of Thrones has no protagonist, exactly, and I kind of have a problem with that. I actually have thought about reading the books, because I think I'd enjoy that more. Damian says, I'm sure metal and NSYNC can exist equally, right? Maybe somebody should do an NSYNC metal cover. That would be epic. I'm sure it exists, and I just haven't looked it up yet. Goldie says, how do I do the toolbox or get help or reach out during the week? I assume that, oh, yes, you were talking to David. Yes. So the toolbox is in the 5-day happiness boost challenge, the 5-day free challenge. So if you just go to happinessboost.life, you can sign up for that free 5-day challenge, and you can email me at any time. No, Amanda, when you go metal, you have to go all in head first. Maybe we can make you a light metal head like aluminum. I'm an aluminum head. I love it. I think that, as I was talking about in the vlog on the anniversary of my dad's passing, I am that person that gets really, really, really into something. There's no half measures. It's always, I will get really invested in it, or I just don't care. And I do see the talent in metal for sure, and I enjoy reacting here on the channel, and there are a couple of songs that I have saved that I think are really positive that I will listen to on my own, but it's just not something I would particularly delve into in my own time. I feel like the payoff of trying to go through 1,000 songs to find the 1 or 2 that I would really resonate with, when you guys are going to tell me the ones that I resonate with, why would I do that? Master Ganja, do you think being a goofball could be a help for PTSD? Yes, my dad was a Vietnam veteran and he had that goofy side, and it was what really helped him to function, to have any joy in his life. And I think taking yourself too seriously all the time, especially when you have trauma or especially when you're struggling with symptoms of anxiety or depression, can really weigh you down because you're not making deposits in your happiness bank, which is something else we talked about in the 5-day challenge. You're not making deposits in your happiness bank. And if you're not making deposits in your happiness bank, then the triggers from the PTSD or the anxiety or whatever the case is going to hit you that much harder. It's going to be that much more intense if you are struggling with that. So we're down to about the last half hour, my friends. So if you have any other questions, if you want a pair of personally signed kitty headphones, anything like that, please make sure that we're getting that in so I have time to do everything. So I have time to answer as many questions as possible. Aluminum Amanda, you are made of drink can material, apparently. Hello, Felipe. Sorry, I just got here. No worries. I just woke up. Awesome August Gaming says, hey, Minna, sorry, I just got here. I just woke up. I'm a little jealous, but other than that, no worries at all. You come when you feel like you can. I'm a really cheap aluminum foil metalhead, but I still love you. So I think we've created a new niche here, guys. Zebulon says, if you like NSYNC and horror flicks, you would like Ad Infinitum, especially Chapter 2 Legacy. It's a concept album about Dracula and also the son of Wallachia. That just sounds like a lot of things that shouldn't be in the same sentence, but also is very intriguing. So I'll definitely have to check that out. Metal Amanda has a nice ring to it. People kept misreading Mental Amanda as Metal Amanda, so you're not the only one to say that. Dean says, my true happiness is my guitar. I wish that I would have gotten into an instrument when I was younger, because I can imagine that it's very therapeutic to just get lost in that creation, in that melody. And it's a lot different than listening to a song because it's your way of expressing things. And I wish that I would have gotten more into music and art and the creative outlets like that when I was younger. And I know that I could take it up now, but it would just require time to learn now and energy to learn. And if I would have learned it when I was younger, then it would be more of a outlet instead of a frustration of trying to learn yet another new thing. Hannibal Lecter, greetings from Poland. Please don't eat me. Mintat Amanda. Now people are just making up all kinds of names for me. But at least you can understand me typing, talking, not so much. Got a thick southern drawl. Oh, I grew up in Missouri. I still say "warsh," so do not think anything badly of your accent, because I still wash my dishes, wash my clothes, and I have a lot of friends from the deep South or from Missouri that have pretty heavy accents. David says, I think Vat Vicar needs some kitty headphones. All right, Vat, are you still in here? Do you want pink or blue headphones? David has just started another kindness train, which I just love so much. This meant so much to me last week, guys, because I've always wanted to see a kindness train. I never thought I'd actually be able to be part of one and be participating in it. So last week when that happened and we just had people buying each other headphones, it meant so much to me. So Vat, he just did. He already did. So you can't turn it down. Your pink headphones will be there soon, Goldie, I promise. Instead of wrote, I said writ. I say writ. Well, I am gonna go down to the creek and walk around a little bit in the water. Yeah. And my words are all over the place sometimes, so it is completely okay. Vod, he doesn't want you to repay it. It's a kindness train like we had last week where it's just people doing kind things for each other to share love. So Vot wants pink. Let's open this up. And the sticker, of course, is doing its job. It's sticking. Isn't it funny sometimes when we get frustrated about things like this? The sticker is sticking on the box just like it's meant to. All right. So let's do black. I love you guys being so loving to each other. So 2. That. Didn't leave myself a lot of room to sign my name, but I'm used to writing really tiny. I used to do that in school when they would tell you that you could only have that piece of paper to take notes on. I used to be able to write a lot on that little piece of paper. So let's get a heart on there. Tuvat, you are stronger than your shadow. Oh, Francisco wants another one for his oldest daughter. Thank you. Okay, another pink pair. Vot's here. And they also come with a personalized note to make sure, Francisco, what is your daughter's name? So I can write her name on here. Or you can choose to not have a name at all. That is also an option. Yep. Sean, David's right. You're part of the community now. Have some, what? Mostly from Popular Bluff and Dexter, Missouri. Wait. What? Did I just miss something? There's a Dexter, Missouri? How did I not know that growing up there? I know that there's a pomme de terre lake, which means potato. So there is a potato lake in Missouri. So all those potatoes we were talking about earlier, that's funny. There is so much unkindness in the world, and I'm big on random acts of kindness. Because I think if we all just did our part. There was a book that I read when I was little called What If Everyone Did That? And that is a book that really stuck with me. And I was going to get it for Bryston, but I couldn't find it at the time that I was searching for it. But it's basically just, we think that we're not making a difference, but what if everybody thought that way? What if everyone was doing that one little act of kindness? Or what if everyone was doing that one hateful thing? It builds up. And if we can sway the odds in the favor of kindness, then that is what we should be doing. Okay, let's see. Her name is Natara. I love that. So 2. Make sure I spell this right. Okay. Natara. Is there anything that she needs to be reminded of? Yes, Va, email me your email address after the stream. Is there anything that she needs to be reminded of, Francisco, your daughter? Since I don't know her, I want to make sure that she gets a very positive and loving message. I'll sign down here below. I think sometimes we all just need good reminders. Eric Fillmore says, as a combat vet with PTSD, I find helping others or passing love and hope is the best form of mental health treatment. I cannot tell you how much healing I have had here, just going through this with you guys, just sharing my experience and finding little ways that I can help or serve or heal has really helped me a lot as well. Aw, see, now David did look for Felipe. You guys are doing this again. Oh my gosh, there's another kindness train breaking out. This is so amazing. Felipe, would you like pink or blue? David just kindness gifted you a pair as well. Just watching to make sure I don't miss whatever message we want for Natara here. You know what? I'm going to give my dad's advice. Don't give up hope, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. If you didn't have a chance to watch that video, I think there's some pretty solid advice on there, guys. My dad was a pretty wise guy. I write slow, I apologize. All right. So this is from Natar. I already have your address, Francisco. So let me make a note. This goes to Francisco. Elf. That's where I was getting the Francesco thing from. I didn't think about that at the time, but that makes sense. To dig through my... Maybe it's time to clean out that little area. Wait, so... Yes. So we have... For Francisco... I think that we underestimate the power of kindness, because there's so many people that just need to be seen and acknowledged and understood. Maybe if we don't understand entirely, just showing people that we do see them and we listen to them can be super, super powerful, obviously. I've broken down before from kindness from strangers, and it's saved me. Actually, let me tell you guys a story. I remember one morning I was going to work a few years ago when I was working at the French school where my son was going to school, and I just ended up having this absolute breakdown because I'd had a really bad night. I didn't sleep and fighting with my partner, just all sorts of terrible things going on in my head, in my world. And I didn't have the energy to make breakfast, so I stopped by this place that I knew at the time had little vegan breakfast smoothies. And I was going through the drive-thru absolutely sobbing, suicidal at the time, just everything was really bad. And the woman gave me a free smoothie. And it just, to be acknowledged like that, to be seen like that, to have my pain validated like that was really what I needed that morning. I just needed someone to see me and hear me and acknowledge that they saw that I was hurting and that I mattered in some way. So that smoothie might have very well saved my life that day. That was before the jumping, before all of that, or before the almost jumping and all of that. And then there was a time, it was similar. I found out Paris, the Chihuahua I was telling you about, I found out about her breast cancer, and I was just hysterical because she was my best friend and I couldn't imagine losing her. And I went through the drive-thru of Starbucks and was also hysterical, and they ended up getting me a free drink, a free tea, and it just meant everything in the world to me. And I didn't, go trying to get pity or anything, but just, again, being acknowledged in that way made all the difference to me that day. And I think we need to be doing that as much as possible. So David, okay, Felipe, sorry, got to chat in there. Felipe, did you want pink or blue? Oh, look, Felipe got one for David. Oh my God, that is so sweet. David says, please, is there a vet on here that can help me? I'm very concerned about Staff Sergeant Rick James. Is there a place I can call or email to check in on vets? That is a very good question. I also have been trying to follow up with Staff Sergeant Rick James. He was very active here on the channel for a long time. He joined the streams. He seemed to be doing really good. We haven't been able to get a hold of him. So if anyone does know where we can check in on him, or if you have contact with him, please, please, please help us. Just know that he is safe. He doesn't obviously have to join our streams or anything, but please just help us find out that he is safe. Oh, Felipe, I think, is saying either is cool for me. You know what? We'll get some blue sky here going on. As much as I love pink, I'm starting to love blue quite a bit too. Make sure I spell Felipe correct because there's so many different spellings for it. So, all right. See, the sticker's doing its job again, darn sticker. Everybody thinks that it's easier to open things with nails. It's actually a bit more difficult. And I don't have my knife in here. I don't have any of my sharp objects in here. Okay. So these light up and everything, just FYI. They're wireless, they light up. Alrighty. So, Felipe. And then just email me your address. My email is in the description of my video, so I can get that to you. Felipe, you are loved and worthy. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how hungry I was. I ate a fairly big breakfast and I don't know why my hunger is kicking in. Do you guys ever get that when you get heightened anxiety symptoms that you find yourself being more hungry than usual, or is that just a weird Nandaism? I feel like maybe that's just a weird Nandaism. But I definitely notice that on days where I struggle a little bit more, I get hungry easier. So I think there's a lot of anxiety symptoms that we just don't, for whatever reason, talk about much. It's very strange to me that we always focus on the certain ones, like the shaking and the sweating and things like that. That's definitely one of them, but there's so much more. There's a bazillion symptoms that anxiety can kick up because it does change us in a very notable physical way, because science, bitch. I love that Felipe and David just kindness to each other. They were kindnessing, just kindnessing, spreading kindness everywhere. Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, thank you, Damian. I'm always terrified. Damian says, I've always been impressed by the amount of effort you put into replying to comments. A lot are there, but not many get missed. I try so hard to catch as many as I can. We got Chuck Norris jokes going on in here. Goldie says, any advice for PTSD? I can't afford a therapist and my psychiatrist is horrible. I have to help her every month with the right dose of my couple meds. My first suggestion would be finding a different psychiatrist. There is online therapy. So if you look in the description of my videos, you'll find the link for BetterHelp. And they do offer all of my viewers 10% off. And it's much more affordable than in-person therapy. But I think even just being here, being in a community where you can talk and you can open up, starting to pinpoint, if you already know what the triggering event was, starting to pinpoint the things that came up about yourself during that time or from that event, and working through them the best you can, just whether that's exposure therapy, whether that's journaling. I think that from my time in therapy, typically what they would do is I would write out the traumatic event, and then I would go back and look for the limiting beliefs, right? So if I'm saying, and I was so stupid because, okay, there's the limiting belief, I'm stupid for making this choice. And then I would, after I'd written those out, after I'd picked out the limiting beliefs, I would find counter statements for each of those. And that's something that my therapist helped me do. I think that you can find a lot of help online for PTSD these days, whether that's a support group, whether that is online therapy, whether that's just videos. I did a video on exposure therapy that can be very helpful for a lot of people. So there's a lot of different methods, and I try to post a lot of different content to help people, because I know a lot of us have experienced trauma, to help people that are going through that trauma. Did I get all of the headphones? I feel like I'm missing one. Please let me know if I got everyone. Oh, look. No, people are exchanging emails and stuff in here to help each other. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Sean is correct. I would see if the VA had a registry maybe, although I don't think COs would be mentioned possibly. Yeah, that's a good idea. We should be checking. But the problem is, I don't think Rick James is his. I'm not sure that that's his real name either. So I feel like we might be having an uphill battle there. It might be. I don't know. But I know that Rick James was also a very popular video game reference or online gaming reference. So. Awesome August Gaming says, I have panic attacks due to PTSD from prison. I had panic attacks. I only spent 47 days in jail, and I had panic attacks really bad, even coming out of it. I did make a video that is just help getting through a panic attack. So I have my own rituals that I do when I have a panic attack. If I am at home, I will go run my feet under really hot water as I can stand. Or if I'm not, I'll go run my hands under cold water and drink water and put on a timer for 10 minutes. And then I actually recorded the affirmations that I made in that video for myself. These were affirmations that I used for myself. And I'd recorded myself in my right state of mind, telling panicked Amanda what I knew that she would need to hear. So that is where that video came from. Hopefully it helps. David, if you want, you can drop that here for him. Oh, David Vaught is saying that he sent you an email and didn't get a response, so just make sure that you check your spam folder. Oh, Dawn says, anxiety makes me hungry, but also makes it hard for me to eat. Kind of weird. I am just glad that I'm not the only person that gets hunger pangs, that gets kind of hangry when I am having heightened anxiety. I definitely get more hungry. Master Ganja, have you seen the show The Munsters? My personality is a combo of Herman and Grandpa. Yes, I interviewed... oh my gosh. I interviewed Eddie Munster. I interviewed the actor that played Eddie Munster here on the channel, and it was really awesome. We had a very great conversation because he was a childhood actor and had dealt with a lot of addiction and stuff after that. So we had a really awesome conversation. He was a really great guy. So yes, I loved the Munsters growing up. Oh, okay. David, the email address first posted was incorrect. Yes, that is my fault. I had posted the incorrect email address for David on a couple of videos, but that is now corrected. Pam says that video, the panic attack video, is very helpful. Definitely recommended. Thank you. I'm glad that it helps people. Like I said, it was what I needed to hear when I was going through that state of mind. So I just wanted to share that with everyone else. David, help getting through a panic attack video is what I was asking to have a link posted for, because there's a couple people in here that were needing something like that. Just need to stretch. I'm going to do yoga and do a puzzle after this and breathe. I don't think I'm really going to take on much else for the rest of the day, other than obviously emailing Sean, making sure that he is taken care of. Sean, I think you're going to be just my grand finale for today, and then I'm just going to go fall onto the couch and catch up on something. I'm going to watch something, do my puzzle. I feel like I need to stretch. I feel like my body tensed up so bad this morning from all of the anxiety and stuff that I'm really needing the yoga. I'm really needing to stretch it out. Is yoga related to Yoda? I don't think so. Nope. We have so many veterans in here, and I just want to take a moment, since I know a lot of you are new, to say that I really have a lot of respect for our veterans. I try my best to provide content that is supportive and that allows you guys to have a community to come to and just talk and share your experiences and know that you're not alone. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for the sacrifices that you made to keep myself and everyone else in here safe. I hope that you guys have a safe Memorial Day. And if you do need to come onto the channel and talk and share, I know days like that can be a little bit triggering. So please know that you do have a safe place to come and share and just open up and have whatever emotions you are needing to have, not only on that day, but any day. But I know, as I said, that Memorial Day and 4th of July and things like that can be a bit triggery. So please know that you have a safe place to go, and we care about you and appreciate you and are very grateful for the sacrifices that you made for us. John Bubba, speaking of the monsters, I'm nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs about the Rob Zombie remake. Yeah, I just don't jump on board with remakes. Yes, I have your email, or I have your address, Francisco, from last week, I believe. White zombie songs still rock. Oh my gosh. So what is everybody else's plans for the rest of the day? We have 10 minutes, going to wind down. I just want to hear what everybody else is doing today, maybe get some inspiration or some ideas. Really, like I said, I think I'm just going to do some yoga and do the puzzle and watch maybe some. So I think there's a new Cinema Sins out, so maybe I'll watch that. I haven't caught up on all my favorite channels in the past week or so. I did catch up on my soap opera. Oh my gosh, I was so happy to see that Finn is still alive, guys. My son was even excited that Finn did not die. I hope that there's no Bold and Beautiful fans in here that are behind, but I was very happy to see that. It very much helps my mental health to know that this fictional character that I have this emotional investment in is safe. Okay, don't judge me. We've got chilling with the dogs, writing, going to a local sporting club, crashing on the sofa. I think that this is just going to be feeding 6 tarantulas and 4 scorpions. What is wrong with you? Can we feed them to each other? Just the thought of that gives me the heebie-jeebies. You're supposed to be helping my anxiety here, not making it worse, Pastor Ganja. David, same thing I do every day. Try and take over the world. Narf. Oh, yes, I needed that laugh. Andrew has to do laundry today. No laundry. Nope, I don't want chores today. Demon Ninja DSM says, visit my grandparents' grave since grandpas were military, so my grandma, then family barbecue. I hope that it brings peace and some healing. I know that sometimes just going to these places and releasing the emotions and stuff can be very healing. So I hope that you feel connected to them, and I hope that you get some of that healing. Yeah, spiders, no. Ugh. Oh, Sean says General Hospital. Okay, good. I'm glad that I didn't spoil the Bold and the Beautiful for anyone. Butterflies and hummingbirds. Yes, give me the butterflies and the hummingbirds. I'm even okay with snakes and lizards and mice, just not spiders and scorpions. And Bryston, my son, says that scorpions are his arch nemesis because he almost died from a scorpion. Baby scorpion well, I don't know it was baby scorpion. They think that it was a baby scorpion had stung him when he was barely a year old and he almost died. So he says that the scorpion is his arch nemesis, and I'm not very fond of them either. David says, I had a spider nest open up on me as a little kid. I respect them from a distance. Well, all of that insomnia progress I was making just went right out the window. Thanks for that, David. Thanks for that. You are already fired from your transgressions for not recommending the video that I believe is going to release tomorrow, hopefully, for not recommending that to me sooner. Edward, you know what I'm talking about. And now you come at me with this, David? Really? I what's left? If I fire you, what's left but to kill you now? I mean, there's no other option. You're leaving me with no options here. All right. I am having a bad day, and then you come in here with this crap, and I just nope, no thank you, sir. You can't go on. It's not possible. You can't go on. Lee Wesley says, I used to be scared of spiders. The way I got over it was by picking up a tarantula off my back garden and walking around for an hour. I've thought about doing exposure therapy for spiders. I did hold a tarantula once when I was really drunk, and I woke up the next morning and saw the picture and had to take a shower and was literally crying in the shower because I felt so almost violated. It was just so awful. I really have thought about trying to do exposure therapy for it, but I just haven't got to a point to tackle that or to be I suppose to be brave enough to knock that one out, because there's a lot that were affecting my life on a much deeper level, like the frozen stuff, the treadmill, the things that affected me because of the miscarriage. There were a lot of those, and I wanted to tackle the more emotional ones, and then maybe one day I'll get to the spiders. But right now I'm going to be busy planning David's untimely demise. So Just Some Awesome Person says, my plans are just to watch a movie and call it a night. Tomorrow early morning, I'll go for my first normal workout after getting injured. I want to go for a walk, but it's 104 degrees here, so it's probably not going to happen. Edward says, just emailed you my resume to take David Gapps' job. Well, it might come with the task of helping me hide David's body, since this was a pretty big transgression. I think all of you will understand when this video releases why I had to fire David and why we're just gonna have to kill him. Yeah, Aaron, you're butthead. Aaron just paid $10 just to send a spider emoji to me. See if yeah. We'll see how that plays out for you, kid. I think Aaron's gonna lose some privileges here too. Just Some Awesome Person says, I only hate water. That's my only fear. And now we know that Just Some Awesome Person is Jason Voorhees in disguise. So now we have all kinds of scary stuff going on up here in the chat. So we're winding down in the last few minutes. And before anyone else decides it's a good idea to send me spider pictures or put hideous, atrocious visions in my head or do anything else awful, I'm gonna wind down here. Exposure therapy. Yeah, but you can't be the one exposing me to it, Aaron. Jerk. Awesome August Gaming says, I only truly have 3 phobias: heights, spiders, and dolls. Dolls are creepy. I had a nightmare about one of those, what do you call it, where it's just the bust and it had hair and stuff. It was a Barbie that I had when I was a kid, but it was more, not full size, but it was bigger because it was the bust and you were supposed to put makeup in it and style its hair and everything. And it gave me nightmares. I had to give it away to my friend Vanessa because it was giving me nightmares. So seriously, you guys are all fired. Seriously, you're all fired. Look at this. Yeah, I'm logging out now before you send me any more spider emojis. So thanks for bringing my energy up and then traumatizing me for life. But really, I love you guys, even though I don't like you all right now. Some of you, I might not like you right now. Aaron, Jason, I don't like you right now, but I'll always love all of you. So I'm going to go try and get this vision out of my head, and I'll make sure to email you, Sean, get that taken care of. thank you for joining me. Seriously, raising my vibes a little bit. I hope that I could do the same. I hope that you came out of this feeling a little better and you're not going to have nightmares about spiders or anything like that for those of you that are going to be going to bed right after this, because I know it's late in some places. Hopefully you will have positive dreams. So unicorns and rainbows and sunshine and puppies and all of the pretty things. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Keep in mind that it is going to be an hour again. This was our last one for Mental Health Awareness Month. I can't believe it's almost over, but I'm very happy. We've come so far. We've grown so much. We've helped so many people and spread so much kindness. So I am happy as it is winding down. I hope you guys are too. And I will talk to you soon. If you got a pair of headphones today, make sure to email me your address. I will see you next week. Mwah.